What are the details of this agreement?
Yeah, so they have agreed to basically have a safe zone, a buffer zone, if you will, in northern Syria, and to have joint patrols and coordinated action to remove Kurdish fighters from that area. This comes after that 5-day ceasefire that the U.S. brokered. Of course, this all needed to happen because the U.S. had pulled troops out of off the Syrian border there with Turkey, and then that led to that Turkish incursion that really threatened the Kurdish fighters, the Kurds who had been fighting along with U.S. troops against ISIS. So this is a deal. It is being proclaimed as something that should hold, that will become permanent, and that should protect the Kurdish fighters. It came after a 6-hour meeting between those two, the presidents of those two countries, to come up with this deal.
So, Jodi, that ceasefire that you mentioned was supposed to be temporary. Does this mean that this could now become permanent?
Well, that's the expectation, Sherry. The Vice President Mike Pence said that he expects it will hold, that it has the ceasefire held, and that he expects this will become a permanent situation. We'll have to see, obviously, things, when the U.S. pulled its troops out of there by President Trump's decision, that really kind of made that whole area unstable. Turkey came in, the Kurds were at risk. The U.S. did not really did not accept the blame for that. President Trump did not accept the blame for that. He said that he had various things to say about the Kurdish fighters, but then they went ahead to broker the ceasefire, and it does seem to have held in the past 5 days. So now the expectation is that with this agreement, we will see perhaps a permanent ceasefire.
The president in the past really dismissed concerns about Russia inserting its influence in the region. Do we know at this point how Congress will react to all of these latest developments?
Yeah, and that's a very good question, because Congress has been very critical. Obviously, Democratic Congress, the Democratic-led House, with Nancy Pelosi and others making statements, are very critical of the president's moves and the president's response in this regard. But at the same time, the president faced also Republican criticism about the move, about his decision to pull those troops, and about how he responded after that. So now that an agreement has been brokered, presumably there will be relief in Congress, because there was a lot of concern about what happens to those Kurdish fighters. Yet at the same time, one might expect that this is another situation in which how the president not only acted, but then responded to the criticism, and how he basically did not accept the results of this will be something that Congress will be looking at. Of course, as we just saw in that last piece, there is an impeachment probe in the U.S. House of Representatives led by the Democrats there. They have 3 committees that are looking into actions by the president. So this will all certainly play into that. But one would expect this would be regarded as good news on Capitol Hill.